In this episode of the Pad Bank, I speak to Flava Matikz, DJ and producer for the multi-award-winning Filipino-American group Q York, an active member of the Pad Bank.
I made it. I made it. I made it. I produced. I made it. I made it. I produced. I cooked up.
Hello and welcome to the Pad Bank with me, Tony Brown, and this is episode number 13. And you will notice, if you've been keeping up with the episodes, you're getting a double whammy this week. So we've just put out episode 12, and now you're getting a midweek special edition. The reason I'm dropping this episode early, not because I'm superstitious and it's number 13. We don't get involved in all that. Basically, this episode is an interview with Flava Matikz, as I just told you in the intro. And I want to drop this immediately because I don't want to mess up the flow of having to do the weekly Flip It challenges. So Flava is the first official Pad Bank member interview, and hopefully won't be the last. You know what I mean? There's a ton of guys in the Pad Bank who I can't wait to speak to and to find out, you know, what their process is and just hear more about their production journey. Flava, he's from Queenz, currently residing in Toronto. He's from a American Filipino background, and he's been in this game for a long time. And he shares his journey. He shares his experiences growing up in Queenz, and just drops a lot of gems, man. So it was a great conversation. I took a lot away from it. Always good energy as well, man. You know what I mean? It definitely brings a good energy. So you're going to enjoy this. And just to say as well, I've got another interview. So as I've just finished recording this, I've got another interview lined up tomorrow evening as well. So that one will probably come out midweek next week. So as these interviews take place, I'm just going to bang them out because, like I said, I don't want to mess up the flow of doing the Flip It challenges because the Flip It challenge is every single week. So salute to everyone. If you haven't already done so, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, make sure you follow us, like us on all the digital streaming platforms. And let me know what you think about this episode. Like I said, it's a little bit different to the usual episodes. But yeah, I'm sure you will find them valuable. So let's get straight into it.
I made it. I produced. I cooked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we've got my man Flava Matikz in the building. What are you saying, brother?
Yeah. What's going on, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Listen, it's a privilege and it's a blessing, you know what I mean, to connect and to have this conversation. I've been looking forward to speaking with you for a minute, man. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
man.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Before we even start, where in the world are you?
Well, right now I am currently out in Toronto, Canada.
Okay. Yeah. How are things out there, man?
I think the COVID cases are starting to rise again. Like people were starting to come out a little bit, but since the cases are rising again, so now like the venues are closing again, so it's like going back to staying home again most of the time.
yeah, same here in the UK, man. So we're just entering our first week of the second phase of lockdown.
Right.
Seems like they're tightening up, man. You know what I mean? They're literally sending like police to certain venues to make sure, you know, certain businesses are shut.
Snap.
Yeah, man. So it's getting really tight over here, man. Which, you know, I mean, for people like me and you, and I've said it on the podcast a lot, man, you know, in one sense, it's a blessing because we've got more time to be in the lab. You know what I mean? So all the other distractions, all the other extracurricular stuff is kind of on pause.
Yeah.
So it gives us more time in the lab. So in one sense, it's a blessing, but you know what I mean? It's crazy times, man. Crazy times.
Yeah, I'm like because I'm like a record producer and like a DJ and an artist and performer. So I guess, you know, in terms of like the performing side and like,
Mm,
live events and, rocking the crowd while DJing.
yeah.
I guess all that is like cut out and it's like, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of, yeah, like being home and then being able to create music and, do your
Mm,
mix downs and make beats. Yeah, that's a beautiful blessing right there.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So from a DJ point of view, as a live
Uh-huh.
performer, as a DJ, do do you see it going back to how it was? Do you ever see it going back to how it was?
I don't know, man. Like we do events like out in Asia and like with
Mm,
like international, like I DJ for like the FIBA 3x3 tournament, which
yeah.
happens like every year in different places of the world. And international players,
Mm,
people from all over the world come through. So I don't know how that's gonna work, man.
yeah. Yeah.
Unless everyone goes in the bubble, but it's only
Mm,
like a weekend events, you know what I'm saying? Like a 2-day,
yeah.
sometimes at most a 5-day event. But I don't know how that's gonna work. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone got to do the swab, quarantine, and like I don't know.
Mm, yeah.
And
I mean,
it's
I've
like
I've
it's in
seen
China
I've
too.
seen like images where they're showing how it could potentially be. So they've got like pens for the crowd. So literally each
Yeah,
crowd
yeah.
has got its own little section. There's probably about 3 or 4 seats in that section, and they're all spaced
Okay.
out in like on like a festival field. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and then obviously the artist comes and does their performance. But I don't
Oh
know, man.
wow.
I was speaking to my daughter the other day, and I was saying like, there's going to be a generation who are not going to know what it is to be in a mosh pit, what it is to, what I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
be in
yeah.
a crowd of like
Just be
2,000
like,
people all kind of enjoying
uh-huh.
the event together, man, and being crushed up and, what I
Yeah,
mean,
the
pushed all over the
the
place.
sardines or the chance for a stampede about to happen.
Yeah, man, that's
It's
gone.
crazy, yeah.
It's gone, man. They're going to watch
Yeah,
videos of
yeah,
like
man.
Glastonbury and think, what, you guys were all cramped up like that together? Weren't you scared? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
So,
you know what I've been doing recently is I guess instead of performing in front of like, at bars or restos or
yeah.
live events, I guess everything's been shifting to online, like live streaming. That's what I
Mm,
pretty much been doing recently
yeah.
is
Yeah.
live streaming. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And how's that been going?
That's pretty cool. Right now,
Mm,
there's this app called Kumu.
okay.
Um, it was made by Filipino-Americans, I believe,
Yeah.
and geared towards more of the Filipino community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been out for a few years, I believe. And then I guess just recently during the pandemic is when
It kind of
it really like
took
blew
off.
up and
Mm,
like yeah, because now like all these artists and singers and rappers, even dancers, DJs
mm,
are getting on this app and like just doing their thing.
yeah, yeah,
Whatever you do, I mean, you could pretty much do. It's like Twitch, I guess.
mm,
People do gaming or like whatever you want to do. You could talk to
yeah,
the people, play games.
yeah,
So apps like Kumu has been
mm,
pretty cool. It's been a way to connect with the audience and
yeah,
your fans, or you know and gain new fans at the same time too.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
definitely seen a lot more online activity.
Uh-huh.
Live shows, live streaming, people doing live DJ events, etc.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it seems like it's filling the gap, but I don't think it will ever replace the experience of, like you said, rocking a live crowd and just
Yeah,
having
yeah,
all that energy
yeah,
in the same building.
yeah.
And also, I think monetary wise, do you get what I'm saying? When you're
Yeah,
playing a gig and there's a couple thousand people, I mean, you're coming home with a check.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Online,
yeah.
I mean, are people really ready? Do you think people are really ready to pay for that online experience?
Yeah, that's another thing too. I don't
Mm,
monetarily, I don't know. It's kind of tough right now because
that's the thing.
everybody's in a tough spot. Everyone's like,
Mm,
needs to like, get some food or pay their bills first,
that's it.
before
That's
like
it.
kind of some entertainment stuff. But man, yeah, I don't know, man.
It's
It's
crazy,
I
man.
guess it's just a different era we're entering, or a different,
Mm,
like I guess you kind of just have to adapt. I guess I don't know,
yeah.
just to be able to, because I don't know if it will ever go back. I'm not too sure,
Mm,
man.
yeah. I can't
Honestly,
see
yeah.
it, man. I really
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
see it.
right.
You know what I mean? Those are going to be days of the past, days gone by.
Yeah,
But
times
yeah,
are
man,
changing, so just gotta adapt. Yeah.
that's it. That's it. We've kind of jumped ahead. I want to go back. You know what I mean? We're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
the present. We're talking about the future. I want to go back. So, Flava Matikz, Q
yeah.
York, you're an active member of obviously the Pad Bank. That's how we've come
Yeah.
to know each other. You're always submitting some heats. You know, I mean, every time you come correct, and it's like, yeah, this guy certainly knows what he's doing.
Thank you, bro.
And obviously, you're currently the reigning champion. You're the reigning
Oh yeah,
Flip
for
It
this
champion.
week.
You won this
Yeah,
week, so yeah, man, salute to that.
thank
Let's
you,
take you
bro.
back though. Where did it all start? Take me back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, take you back to New York City, bro.
Okay. So you're born and raised in New
Queens.
York?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I was born in LA,
Okay.
and then my parents divorced and
Mm-hmm.
split. My mom's took me and my sister to New York when I was probably like 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
So I pretty much grew up in New York City, Queens,
Okay.
New York to be exact.
Yeah.
Oh, even to be more exact, Woodside, Queens. Yeah.
Okay.
I got into, you hear music here and there, and then, I think I fell in love with basketball first,
Okay.
playing basketball, and then I got
Yeah.
into music because my older cousin was the DJ. They had like a whole DJ set up in their basement, and that's where like the parties would happen, the family parties or whatever.
Yeah.
And didn't think nothing of it. We just would go meet up with the cousins and just play basketball outside.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess there was this one time where the party was done the next day, and then me and my other little cousins, maybe we were like 10 years old or so, we started playing with the DJ equipment.
Okay. Yeah.
So my cousin, he had like 3 turntables set up.
Yeah.
So like we all had like our own turntable, and then we don't know what we were doing, but we were
Yeah.
just like effing it up,
Yeah.
and then that was it. And then like I guess my 11th birthday or so,
Yeah.
he actually hooked me up with his old turntables.
Nice. So what year we're talking about here? What, you're around 11?
This
What
is
year?
like 11, so 80, I was born in 81, so maybe like around 92 or so.
Okay.
Early
You're making me
90s.
feel old, brother.
Yeah. That's all good, bro.
Yeah, continue. So it's 1991, 92. You just got some decks.
Yeah. So it just starts in the bedroom, just set up in the bedroom.
Yeah, man.
Not knowing what you're not, there's no YouTube, no one really to teach me, because I didn't really live near my cousin.
Yeah.
So once I had my own setup, I was on my own. And there's some friends in the neighborhood, DJs here and there. I think DMC tapes,
Okay.
VHSs, just seeing clips here and there, like Rock Raider, Cuba,
Yeah.
just getting inspired however you can. And just at the homeboys, me and the homeboys, we just DJ, whatever.
Yeah.
And then one day, I don't know, I got it, like the beat matching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember I
It
had
clicked.
Yeah. And then my sister was like, "Oh, there it is. That's it. It's like, "Oh, snap, there it is."
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you ever a DJ, like, it would just be like a hot mess, right?
Yeah,
like,
man. Yeah, man.
all
I
jumbled.
remember the first party I ever DJ'd. So one of my cousins, this guy was advanced. He was advanced with, he was doing like pause mixtapes early. He started DJing early, started MCing early. And the first party I ever played at, he was DJing there. And I probably had about 6 records. So I thought I was a DJ, you know what I mean? I had like probably a Public Enemy album, a few other albums. And I played a little set and I thought I knew what I was doing. So the party finished, we was walking home, and I turned to him and I was like, yo, how was the set, man? What did you think? And he looked at me, he was like, nah, bro. Nah, bro.
Yeah.
And there was another guy in our circle who he was a terrible DJ. Like he had the heart of a DJ, but his mixing was always offbeat. And I was like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Was it as bad as his? And he was like, it was bad. And you see from that, I just got my head down and practiced, man. In the bedroom, just got my head down and practiced. So
yeah. Because in the beginning, I don't think like you don't hear it, or like musically, I don't. When you're first starting out in music, I guess you don't really hear it, like, or hear anything or tones or anything.
Yeah.
and then
It
just
just clicks.
just like anything else, the more you do it,
Mm,
practice makes perfect.
yeah,
That's
yeah. So what
that's
were
what
you
it
spinning those
is.
days? What were your first kind of
Um,
joints you were cutting up?
I
We're
guess
talking
you
like
could say,
92.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember my cousin. The first record he gave me a record. It was a
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Lee, man. And then it samples like James Brown's dun, 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 well,
Yeah. Was it like one of
yeah,
those break records?
yeah, it's kind of like a break record that I guess a throwaway for him. He was like, "Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
here, you can
yeah.
have this one." But I remember he had like House of Pain, who's the man,
Yeah, yeah.
and I remember him mixing it with like Down with the King,
Mm-hmm.
Run DMC,
Yeah, yeah,
and those kind of right, Slam,
yeah.
Onyx.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like
That was my
that kind of
era.
like set. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man.
So I guess, and then I guess when I started buying my own records, I guess it was like Craig Mack,
Mm-hmm.
like
Flavor in your ear.
already, yeah, Flavor in Your Ear, and that's kind of how I got my name,
Okay.
was from Flavor in Your Ear, because that's when I started getting like double records, right?
Yeah. The
And then
two
now
copies. Yeah.
you're just playing that all day, every day, and you're like,
Yeah.
yo,
Back to back. Yeah, man.
Flavor, yeah, yo, DJ Flavor, and that was my first kind of thing. DJ Flavor was my first, I guess,
Mm,
DJ name, or
okay.
yeah, I was DJ Flavor for a bit, all through high school, doing my thing,
Mm-hmm.
house parties, just as a hobby, just
Yeah. Yeah.
school
So
parties.
at what point did it transition from being in the bedroom, doing high school parties, to becoming something where it was like, yo, I'm looking to do this for real? When did that happen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when it was time for college, when I finished high school
Yeah.
in like 99, I had to go to college, right? So it was
Mm,
like, what am I going to major in? Okay, I guess I'll major in computer programming, because my cousin that he used to hang out with us, he was like a computer programmer. He drove a
mm,
BMW M3.
mm.
He worked for IBM, making good money. I was
It
like,
was
okay,
nice.
maybe
It
I
was
could do that.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right, let me just major in computer programming. Let's
Mm-hmm.
do it. So boom, I got accepted to like New York NY NYTC or some technical college, New York
Okay.
City Technical College,
Yeah.
and then passed the advancement, the placement test and all this. Boom, boom, boom. So met with the advisor, and now the advisor's like, okay, what computer language class do you want to take?
Yeah.
And I was like, computer language? We're like, what? What is, what is? And then once she saw, I was like kind of hesitant and like weirded out about it. She was like, "Oh, yo, make sure this is what you love, because you're gonna be doing it for the rest of your life."
Mm,
So that was kind of like a turning point for me of like, what am I gonna do with my life? Like, because I
mm.
wasn't even thinking about it, right? Like, young 18-year-old kid,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, just playing basketball, DJing,
Mm,
partying, girls, I
mm-hmm.
mean, what am I doing? Like, okay,
Yeah.
what do I love to do? All those things. Okay,
Mm,
basketball, of course, my number one thing I love, but I don't know if I could. I don't know if I'm NBA material, man. There's these
mm.
7-foot 13-year-olds like dunking already. Like, they
You're
don't
looking
even need
at
to practice or work out. They're already like killing
yeah.
it. Like, I got to work like 10 times harder. Like, yo, this is
Mm, yeah.
okay. NBA. I don't know if I'll make the NBA, but DJing. What can I do with DJing? You can't major in DJing, but like I remember seeing Full Sail. I don't know if you ever heard of Full Sail. It's like a recording engineering school in
Okay.
Florida or something. And studio. I was like, oh yeah, you guys have anything like that? Studio recording engineer, or I don't know,
Mm,
something like that. And they're like, yeah, we got something like that. Boom. So I
man.
switched to music electronic technology. So that was
Wow.
my major for college. I got a degree in that.
Yeah.
Took me like 3 years to finish a 2-year course.
Mm,
And yeah, that's when the
yeah.
first time I learned, yeah, software. Before
Yeah.
that, it was
Yeah.
just straight vinyl, right? That was my only musical background. No piano, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when they showed us like Pro Tools, Digital Performer 3, I believe.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
that time, the Digi Design, like
Digi design. Yeah.
yeah, the blue, the like it was like teal, I forgot, and the old school Max, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Wow.
yeah. That's when, yeah, first time playing the piano. They taught us how to play the piano, chords,
Mm,
singing, harmony, all the way to like soldering stuff, electrical
wow.
stuff, you know.
Yeah, they went deep.
So
They went deep,
yeah,
man.
that's pretty much
Mm,
like what I was learning at that time, and it was
yeah,
like all the first my first experience with all that
yeah,
musically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. Well, let me tell you this. When I was at school, so I got to my final
Mhm.
year, and you get that time where you got to sit down. Like in the UK, you had like careers advisors. So when you get to like
Mhm.
15, 16, you go and sit down with your careers advisor, you know what I mean? And they ask you like, what it is you want to do as a career. Then they'll guide
Mhm.
you down the right path. So which college course you should take. So my time came for me to go and sit down with my careers advisor. And he was like,
Mhm.
okay, Tony, what do you want to do? And I had my answer ready. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I was like, I was bold. I was confident. I was like, yeah, man, I want to
Mhm.
be I want to be a DJ. I want to be a record producer, and I want to own my own studio. And
Mhm.
this guy
Mhm.
looked at me like, are you crazy? Like
What?
that's not a real job. What do you want to do is a real job?
Yeah.
And in
Wow.
that moment, like all my ambitions just crumbled away. And I was just like,
Wow. Wow.
I thought that was the right answer. I mean, he was asking me what I wanted to do. I told you what I wanted
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do, but to him it was the wrong answer. So he was like, no,
Wow.
what do you want to do as a real job? And I remember just saying, I don't know, man. I like cars. I'll just go and do, like, my uncle at the time had a car body repair shop. I says, I'll just go and
Mhm.
work with my uncle and do car body repair. And off I went. He
Mhm.
signed his paperwork and sent me off, and I went and done a car body repair course. If
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
if I knew about sound engineering, about, what I mean, even broadcasting or whatever, something along that line,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have
Yeah.
jumped on that. But them times I never knew no different, man. You know what I mean? And he also didn't know any different. So, I never ended up pursuing that until later on in life. You know what I mean? There was a course at a local
Oh wow.
community center that was doing sound engineering, and that's how I kind of got into that. But yeah, man, it's a
Mm.
blessing that you was able to kind of pursue that early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
get that solid grounding. So so yeah, man. So
Hell
you went
yeah. Hell
through
yeah.
college. You done all that. You got your masters. Where did you go from there? And at this time, was you still in Queens?
I was still in Queens. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Finished college in Queens, and I guess during that time, I guess we this is when New York was starting to be born at the same time.
Okay. You
So
talk to me.
now
Yeah, let's go.
I was DJing right in
Yeah.
Queens. Then my cousin was a girlfriend of a rap group like in the other side of Queens, or so,
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica side.
Mm-hmm.
Is a duo,
Okay.
Noah and Agony. They were called the Paradox
Mm-hmm.
at that time. And their DJ Fat Fingers was like practicing for like some battles and stuff at the time, so he couldn't be their DJ
Yeah.
for their shows at that time. So my cousin was like, yo, my cousin DJ. So she
Mm,
hit me up. It's like, yo, you want to perform? I was like, yeah, let's go, let's go.
mm.
I've been always the dude that is always down to, let's go,
Let's do it.
not
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
like, let's
Yeah.
do it. So boom, my first time really performing like with a rap group. Before I was just like a party rocker DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Now like a DJ with a hip hop group. Spinning the records, the
Yeah.
instrumentals, speeding it up. They start rapping faster. Da-da-da. We had like little
Little
gimmicks in
set.
our in
Yeah.
our show or set, yeah. And boom, it was cool. We did a few colleges around town, even outside of town, Jersey,
Yeah.
New Jersey and all that stuff. And that was it. But then everyone kind of like, went their separate ways, doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I started making beats in college, that was the
Mm-hmm.
first time I started making beats. I hit them back up. I hit up Noah. I was like, yo, you guys got to come through. I'm making beats now. Let's do something.
Mm.
And at that time, he just told me, yo, I'm a solo artist now. I'm not in a group. We're not a group no more. So, but yo, I'm come through. So let's go. I was like, yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
Noah came through. We recorded a few joints. Actually, we rented out studio time
Yeah.
$25 an hour at that time, and
Mhm.
like we recorded a song somewhere else, and we were like, yo, F this, man. Let's build our own studio, and
Mm.
we're gonna be just recording all day.
Yeah, yeah,
So we just pretty much turned my bedroom into a studio,
yeah,
compact Presario. But starting from the beginning, what we put some towels on the wall as like
yeah,
sound barriers.
yeah,
I think we just had a whatever dynamic mic we could find. Put a few socks, put some layers to be the
yeah.
pop filter.
You got to do what you got to do, man. You got to make it
Yeah,
happen. You know what I mean?
and then like a light post. You take out the light bulb, put the mic in there. That's your mic stand.
Yeah,
We had a pair of headphones, but broken headphones, so we put a
yeah,
headband around the headphones to hold the headphones in place.
yeah, yeah. Real DIY. You know what I
Yo,
mean?
oh
Being
my
resourceful.
goodness.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
what was your first kind of production tool? What was you using then to make the beats?
first tool was XP XP60 Roland
Okay.
XP60 synthesizer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And you done everything on that?
Um, I was pretty much doing everything on that. What's that called? Yeah, playing the keys and
Hmm.
like just the stock sounds, pretty much, right
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
But
Were
I
you
didn't know
sampling those
mix.
times?
I wasn't sampling yet, just yet at those times yet. I
Yeah.
was still like, I guess, inspired by the keys.
Yeah. So
Um,
what year was this? Remind me,
from
what year was
school.
this?
This is like 99,
Okay.
2000,
So what was
and
popping
then
then? That was
like
kind of like Rough Riders era.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's what kind of like sparked us to make
Yeah.
Q York Entertainment, like, as our own label, record label,
Mm,
was like those kind of things, those independent labels, Cash
mm,
Money,
yeah.
Rockefeller, yeah, Rough Riders,
Yeah.
all these independent artists doing their own thing,
Mm,
and like, yo, you know what? We could do our own thing too. Like, yo, let's record ourselves. We could print our own CDs, you
mm,
know, burning CDs, and then
yeah. Yeah.
make the cover. We
Yeah,
got
man.
graphic. One of our friends was a graphic designer at that time,
Yeah.
Def Case, and yo, like, yeah, just your friends, boom, 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 we
Yeah,
make it
man.
happen.
Just making
We
it
started
happen.
making T-shirts and then merch, like Q York, everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was around like 99, 2000.
Yeah. Yeah. So who were
And
your those times? Who would you say your production influences were? Who were you kind of aspiring
um,
to be like?
oh yeah, at that time, I mean, I always loved Wu-Tang, man. Wu-Tang was my first CD in '93.
Mm, wow.
Enter the Wu-Tang, yeah,
Yeah.
36 Chambers.
Yeah.
That's what kind of like got me into the music thing too
Yeah.
at that time. But of course, so the RZA, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wasn't into sampling just yet. Like after a few years, I was able to get my hands on an MPC, and then I started like sampling.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess I was inspired by yeah, Swiss Beats,
Mm-hmm.
Neptunes,
Yeah. Yeah.
people of
Which
that
at that
time.
time, you know, what I mean, that
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
they were popping right
That was,
at
yeah,
that
yeah.
time. Yeah.
They were all like kind of brand new at that time too. So
I see.
of course,
Mm,
yeah, Timbaland, Dr. Dre, they're
yeah.
doing their thing.
Yeah.
But
So at that
yeah, I guess.
point, you said you weren't sampling, you were mainly on the keys. When you
Mhm.
heard Reza's sound, were you aware that he was using samples, or did you think it was him producing from top to bottom?
Um, oh no, no, no. I don't know. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
I didn't even break it down like that. I was just like, oh yeah, I just love like Wu-Tang, like,
Yeah.
everything, the overall spectrum. Because
Mm,
that was back in the day when I just started DJing, right? So
yeah.
uh, it was just the overall sound, many different styles, and just like, bringing it all together, the overall sound.
Yeah.
But when it came to production, I kind of knew, okay, yeah, like Swizz is like, they're playing on the keys,
Yeah.
they're making melodies, and the Neptunes,
Mm-hmm.
and then Dre, you could kind of hear, oh shit, those are like samples,
Old songs, yeah.
old school
Mm,
samples that he flipped. And then yeah, RZA, it was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, these are samples. But I guess I was really inspired at that time when I started making beats, were keys or whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I first started, the first time I went to a studio and I was trying to, because I mean, I DJ'd from I was like 14, 15 myself. And I remember trying to make a beat sound like what I was playing. And at that time, I didn't know. I kind of knew, but I didn't really know like they were sampling. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm trying to achieve this sound, like say the Reza sound or the Primo sound, not realizing I'm never going to get this on these. I'm using like, you know, a Korg Triton or, you know what I mean, a Boss drum machine. Do you get what I'm saying? And I'm trying to get this sound. I'm thinking, why doesn't it sound like that, man? And when I realized, when I learned about sampling, I was like, that's it. I've got it now. Like, I know your tricks now.
Yeah, sampling adds a whole different dynamic to it.
Man.
Like all you need is just one sound that's sample in the background, and then you add your whatever flavor keys on top.
Yeah.
It'll make those just keys that much better. Yeah. But I didn't realize that until later either.
Yeah. I want to continue talking about your production journey, but I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Obviously, you grew up in Queens in a time where Queens globally, it was an iconic hip hop place. Do you get what I'm saying? Like globally, like where I grew up in the UK in a small town or a small city, and Queens influenced my area. You know what I mean? When Mobb Deep came out, when Illmatic dropped, but when Mobb Deep came out with that album, I saw a shift in my community. The music and the feel of that album caused a shift in my community. People behaved differently. You know what I mean? People started, you know what I mean? It was like, yo, it got kind of grimy. Do you get what I'm saying? And that was like, we're miles away from you guys. What was it like growing up in and around that vicinity?
Yeah. Queensbridge is just maybe a 10, 15, 20-minute drive, depending on the traffic. But one train away. I lived on 67th Street, Woodside, Queens.
Yeah.
And Queensbridge is more 21st Street. So it's a few blocks, but I guess New York City, probably similar to the UK. I don't know. I've never been to the UK, but it's like a melting pot of different races and different everything everywhere in a small concentrated area, right? So there could be a nice place, and then right around the block is the projects, right? And then you know, this neighborhood is the Irish and the Italians on the next block, and then the black dudes, and then Hispanics over here, like, you know. Yeah. So it's all mixed up, like even one block away. But I guess growing up where I was, we would play sports on the block. You know, it was pretty much like, I guess, our block. You know, there was older kids too, or older, but they would do their thing. But we would just see them, like, you know, driving their cars or whatever. Like, you know, we're just kids playing on the block. Football, basketball, baseball, manhunt, tag, or whatever, you know, soccer, all these things. And then getting into music, we started playing music on the block. And you know, I guess when Mobb Deep came out, and then I guess, you know, I mean, I guess I realized that people could take your stuff whenever they want, or like if you ain't ready, you know what I mean? They're gonna stick up kids, right? They're around. But I mean, it wasn't like around our area, because that was our area. But once you start going outside your area, going to blocks that you don't know or whatever, that's when people, you know, are like looking for the come up or whatever, you know. I remember we were riding bikes with me and my friends. A few blocks away, you know, there was like 8 of us, you know, riding bikes. We rode to the park, play some ball, and then, you know, we were just on our way back. And then, like, on the boulevard, we could see like 30 to, I don't know, like 30, 40 kids on bikes. And then they were just riding that, riding this way. We were already on the perpendicular block, but then we're like, oh snap, look how many freaking, we were like, yeah, we were hyped. We were like, yeah. And then once, like, one of the last dudes saw us, and then they're like, boom, all of them came back, and then they came up and ran up on us. They were like, "Yo, like I don't know, like 30 to 50 of them. It was just so many of them on bikes,
Yeah.
and we were like, they're like, yo, let me ride your bike. I was like, nah. They're like, oh, let me ride your bike, and then that's what he threw it. I guess his ghetto bike, and then he was like, yo.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah. And then boom, and that's when we started swinging, and then like, you know, dodging. And then once you let go of the bike, that's it. Then
Gone.
they got the bike, and then whatever. And then they didn't even want to fight. They just wanted the bike, really. So
Yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
and he got the bike, and we were like, yo, and then like before we knew it, everyone was gone. We're like, boom. It was like, oh my god. But I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I
man.
mean, that you never know. I mean, it can happen anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I got my bike stolen in New York as well, man. I'll never forgive that guy.
Yeah.
I got my a brand new BMX as well,
Oh yeah.
I came
Yeah.
out there because I lived in Brooklyn when I was younger. I used to come
Yeah.
back every
Yeah.
other summer and stay with my grandma and my uncle. And I had a brand new BMX bike. We're talking, it was like a chrome. I can't remember what make it was, but I remember it was chrome frame, nice
Yeah. Yeah.
bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Me too.
I used to flex on this
The
bike up,
dyno. I had a dyno.
something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Riding up and down Church Avenue. You know what I mean? Flatbush Avenue, around Prospect Park.
Yeah. Yeah.
And me being from the UK, I was naive. Like in the UK, you could just put your bike outside the shop, go in the shop, buy what you need to buy, come out,
Oh no.
back on your bike, and you're gone. That was normal to me. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I put my bike outside the shop now. I've gone in a Chinese shop to order some wings or whatever. And I turn around, I just seen this guy just run past and just get on the bike and gone. And I ran outside the shop, and by the time I looked,
Oh, you saw him?
yeah, man, he
Oh,
was probably about a good half a block down, and he was just looking back like this, riding like, yeah. And I was like,
yeah.
I was gutted, man. I was wounded for the whole day. I was like, oh, my bike, man. Ruined my whole summer.
Mean, yeah. I mean, people who don't have much, they'll like whenever there's opportunity to get something, they'll try and get whatever they can. Whenever.
I learned my lesson that day, bro. Trust me.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Lock it up, even.
That's it. That's it. We'll take it in the shop with me. I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
So all right. So you started producing. Uni boys have hooked up. You're now making music. Tell me about that first experience of actually making your own music, the studio sessions, putting it out. What was the reception like? Who was your crowd? You know what I mean? Who was your kind of, what was your audience like?
At that time, we were like hitting up like open mics, contests, I guess, here and there, and then schools, like colleges and universities.
Yeah.
I guess you could say the car shows,
Yeah.
Like import night kind of thing, night kind of car shows. We would hit those up as well. Those were kind of the places we would perform.
Yeah.
And
what was your first like serious show? Like, yo, this isn't like the local event. This is like, okay, yo, we're gonna rock this now. What was that? What was your first?
Yeah, it was
show?
probably those car shows. It was pretty cool. I guess there would be all of us. It was like the whole gang, your friends. We all dancing on stage, and and then with the girls, we had like the car import girls. Dancing with us, and then we felt like we were like this is it, this is the life, right? Making music, we rapping and having fun. I guess that's what kind of was inspiring us at that time, or what we were doing at that time. But
and at that time, were you already Q York then, or was it a different crew,
Yeah, we were already Q York. No,
okay.
I mean, pretty much Q York is when I been Q York ever since. Making music. Okay. Since 99, 2000. Incorporated it in like 2001. Nice. And we've been Q York ever since. Pretty much almost 20 year anniversary already, man.
Yeah, man, that's big.
Yeah, we've been just making music. I mean, I could see the evolution in my sound, and like even today, like I feel like I could still improve, but I could see how much improvement I have made since 99, 2000.
Yeah.
And the way I hear things is differently, especially nowadays. but I still always feel like I can make it better, or I still could learn more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with technology, there's always new things that come out, like
Mm,
make things easier. But it's still a learning process. But
yeah.
I guess I obviously enjoy it. I've been doing it for half of my life or so.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So over that 20-year period, you mentioned earlier about, you making the tracks, burning your own CDs, pressing up your own T-shirts. You've kind of come
Mhm.
from that DIY era,
Yeah.
where again, you could buy 100 blank CDs, burn them off, press them, and
Yeah,
distribute
yeah,
them.
yeah.
Where now we're in a digital age. How do you feel the two compare, and which one did you prefer? Did you prefer the hand-to-hand
Mm.
pushing out CDs and doing it like that, or do you prefer this new digital age?
Oh man, if I had to choose, I don't know. I mean, I came from the physical,
Mm,
hand to hand combat, but I don't know. I kind of like the convenience of
yeah.
just reaching the people through just online.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say. I appreciate coming up with the CDs and records and vinyl and
Mm,
hardware, different hardware, but yeah, I guess I'm just adapting a little bit because I don't
mm,
know if it's ever gonna go back to that. So now I just gotta kind of look forward
yeah.
to
Yeah.
like how am I gonna be relevant today, and like just gotta keep up with with these young cats is like coming out with fire too, and just
Mm,
easily just like that off an iPad, or they
yeah. Yeah.
they don't even need like much. So I guess the digital era, I mean it's still a learning process at the same time, but I guess
Mm,
I just like the convenience. Like I could
yeah.
just be home, I
Definitely.
could spend time with my kids, and then boom, I could do, I could
Mm,
reach the world
that's it. Just like what
just
we're
by
doing
being
now.
home. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
That's it. I mean, you,
Yeah.
you think 20 years ago, what we would have had to have done to have
Hmm.
this conversation, we would have
Yeah.
needed a whole broadcasting unit with satellites outside.
Yep.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Sending a live signal,
Yeah.
and here we are. You know what I mean? Broadcasting live to the world. So there's
There
definitely
you go.
that level. And like you said, you can reach the world more or less from your lab. You can be in your bedroom. You can
Yeah.
be in your studio, and you can literally broadcast to the world. You can produce a track that
Mhm.
day, export it, you know what I mean? Give it a
Yep.
quick mix, quick master, boof, upload it to
Boom.
SoundCloud, Bandcamp, YouTube, and have global reach immediately. So in that sense, it's definitely
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
made distribution a lot easier.
Hmm. Hmm.
Where with the physical, you had to have that thing and
Yeah.
get out
Yeah.
there
You
and
gotta
listen to this.
You
You know
gotta
what I
do
mean?
the footwork. You
You got to
gotta
do the
be out there
footwork.
on the streets. You
That's
gotta
it.
spend that time, and it would, I guess, take away. I guess when you're young, you don't know, like, you're willing to go out, but I guess when you get older and yeah, you do have a
Mm,
family and like have kids, that'll
yeah,
take time away from that. So I guess I kind of like the convenience of the new age, the digital era, if you want to call it.
yeah, yeah. Cool. So let's jump into your current production process. Talk us through,
Hmm.
I mean, you're about to get busy, you're in the lab. What's
Yeah,
your process like?
it's different every time, of course, making music, but I'm definitely inspired by the pad bank.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man.
So I
That's
mean,
that's good to hear.
I pretty much can't wait till every week, till the sample comes out,
Yeah.
and get to chopping. I use Serato sample
Okay.
in Logic Pro X.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do the random search.
Okay.
I don't know if you use Serato sample,
I
but
don't use no, I use Logic and the MPC, but
oh yeah, that's right, that's right. But
mm,
on Serato sample, they have a button that'll just like randomly pick
just chop.
spots in the song.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess I like it because it's like it's unorthodox. It's not like
Yeah.
something you would usually do, right? So I kind of
Okay.
like it. That's the first thing I usually do if
Yeah.
ever, just to
So
see.
let me stop you there. Sorry. Does
Mhm.
doing that random, does it also place the chops? Does it lay it out on the keys for you as well, on the pads? Or
Yeah,
does it just
yeah,
give
yeah.
you a section?
No, it'll lay it out on the pads or
Oh
keys
wow.
for you already.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So you could just
boom,
say,
once you
just do a random search and lay it out across like 64 pads or something like that, or six, or
Yeah, yeah,
across
yeah.
whatever key range.
hmm
Wow.
Yeah, for a Serato sample, there's only 32. It'll only
Okay.
give you a max of 32
Regions.
pads or slots. Yeah,
Yeah.
regions. But it's like I'll try that first, see if I hear anything, and if I don't hear
Mm,
anything, then I'll go in deeper and be like, look, search for the loops or the good places to cut. But I like doing that first
yeah.
because it's making me do something I wouldn't usually do, or someone else will hear that same sample or loop.
Yeah.
We would do the same loop, but this way it would be like, oh, it's making it different where you
Mm,
know nobody would even think about that.
yeah. Yeah.
Chopping it up like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing I like about the Flip It Challenge is because a different
Hmm.
producer picks a sample every week, it's going to bring you out your
Yeah,
comfort
yeah.
zone. You're going to hear something like, right, I never would have thought to have even
Hmm.
looked in that
Hmm.
direction
Hmm.
or sampled something like that. So it kind of
Yeah, yeah.
pulls you out your comfort zone a little bit. All right,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're using Serato, you're using Logic, you've done your random search, or you've found
Hmm.
something. What's the next step?
Once I get like, something sounding good, then yeah, you can move on.
Mm,
Maybe start adding depends what you hear in your head, but start adding, maybe some hi-hats just
yeah,
to
to get
just
like a
see
little
where the
groove
tempo's
going.
at
Yeah.
or whatever. Start hitting different snares, seeing what sounds good.
Hmm.
But then most of the time, like, okay, it's almost there. Now that snare, you just got to tune it out. Now you got
Yeah.
to pitch it up, pitch it down, make it sound right with the beat.
Hmm.
So I kind of like mixing while I'm making the music. So this way it kind of like already sounds good by the end of the, so I
Yeah.
don't have to do all of that at the end. Like, okay, now I got to mix it down.
Yeah.
I kind of like mixing it and then I can move on to adding another layer. So boom, once I get a snare and the hi-hat on key or whatever,
Hmm.
sounded nice, different
Oh, like velocity.
dynamics, yeah, velocities, dynamics.
Yeah, yeah,
I like to just do it right then and there,
yeah.
then move on. Then yeah, start adding the drums, the kick, and then I guess finally I'll add the bass after the drums,
Hmm.
and then pretty much the same thing. Play different subs, play different 808s, see what sounds right with that song you're making at that time.
Yeah,
Just testing it out, experimenting. Then once you got something, I make sure I like it. I just before I can move on to the next step, right? I got to be like, nah, if I don't feel it, I try not to move on.
yeah,
I I just try to figure it out
yeah.
before I move on to adding new stuff. And then
Mm,
from there, I mean, it's pretty much done, right? Like, some drops here and there. But
yeah,
then I kind of like add that last part where it's just that little change. I go through the samples again just to add that extra sample on top of the sample. You know what
hmm,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
To
man.
make it not like, like
Repetitive.
is it yeah, yeah, just to make it more different from, original. Say you have a loop or whatever.
Okay, yeah,
Now I'm looking for other samples to play along with that loop
yeah,
just to make it a different sound or a different, make it sound extra or different or just, it's that extra last
yeah, man.
MSG
Yeah.
or salt and pepper or whatever you want
Just
to
to
add to your
enhance it. Yeah,
yeah,
the flavor enhancement.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be a
But
good EP. That'd be a good EP for you, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Flavor
And then boom,
enhancement.
yeah, yeah. And then pretty much that's like you have a good bunch of layers there, 8
Yeah.
tracks, 8 to but sometimes I like to separate my drums too, so I
Mm,
usually have at most maybe 16.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I know it's good to have like less tracks. The less sometimes is always better, they
Mm.
say, like
I've
simple or whatever.
I've always separated my drums. I had a conversation with someone the other day, and they were
Yeah.
saying, when you make your drum, after you've made your drums, do you explode them? And I was like, I've always separated my drums, and it was because
Mhm,
when I after I got my MPC, I was working with a MC, and straight away we was in the studio. So straight away it was like everything's got to come out the 8 outs. I need your hats, your snare, your kick, all on a
mhm,
separate
mhm,
track.
mhm,
So I got into the habit of when I actually make my beats, hats, snare, kick, all laid
Yeah,
out
yeah.
separately, and I've always done that. So there's no need for me to have to explode my drums. It's only
Yeah, yeah.
now, more recently, when I'm using break beats, that
Mm-hmm.
after I've chopped up my break, I will assign the snare, the hi hat, and the kick to a
Mm-hmm.
submix.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't need to explode
Yeah.
them. I just assign them to a submix and do it that way.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I do too. Like I have, you know, yeah, you have the snare,
Yeah,
gigs, everything is separated. But then after that, yeah, I do put it to a bus or a
that's it.
submix,
Yeah, yeah,
where okay, this is the drums, and then I'll have a submix for the music,
that's it.
which is yeah, the melodies or whatever, and then I have another one
Yeah,
for the bass. So I
yeah,
kind of like, and then from there, it's a little easier to level out. But at least individually, you're able to compress the kick. You're able
mm,
to do these things individually to those. But then once you group it, it'll make it easier for the mix.
yeah,
And that's how I kind of like level it out towards the end. And then I'll
yeah,
have another bus for I guess the vocals. Yeah, once we lay down some vocals. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's what I wanted to get into. So obviously, being part of a group,
Hmm.
you're more time when you're producing with a vocalist in mind. Yeah. What's the advantages and disadvantages to that? Because I'm just here. I'm a producer. I've got no artists that I really work with on a regular basis. I make my beats, and if someone likes it, then we will work. But I'm not making it knowing this is for that person or that's for that
Yeah,
person.
yeah, yeah.
So what do you find, like, what are some of the challenges and some of the benefits of being in a group and making music knowing that it's going to be for this artist?
I honestly, I like making beats that way, not knowing
Yeah,
freely, being creatively free and just like I'm just making music the way I feel or whatever I
yeah,
feel at that time. That's the way I love making beats or music.
yeah.
But yeah, being in the industry, making music, we're like producers and songwriters as well for other artists. So
Okay,
sometimes we do have to be like, okay,
we need to
or the
go.
client the
Yeah.
client's like, oh, we want something like this, we want something like that, or
Yeah.
if you're working with an artist or singer, hey, do you have something like this, do you have something like that, kind of thing.
Mm,
And I guess it brings out a different thing. It's a challenge, I guess, that like I said earlier before, I'm like, yo, whatever, let's do it, let's go.
mm, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I look at challenges as as a game.
Yeah.
I'm big on video games, basketball, and it's like, oh yeah, let's play, let's go.
Mm,
And
let's
it,
do it.
I feel like it makes me better. It'll bring me out of my comfort zone as being, creatively free. It'll
Mm,
make me focus in on like, oh, just I'm only able to do this. I'm only able to do that, and that's all the only thing they want. So okay, I'm limited to these things.
yeah.
So it's gonna challenge me. I can't do what I normally do, but let me see if I could give them what they want. So
Mm,
I think it's a good thing at the same time too,
yeah.
when you are kind of creating for with someone in mind or for a client or whatever kind of thing. It's I think it's a good thing, but it is
Mm,
kind of challenging sometimes if they kind of like, oh, like especially genre wise. I guess me growing up in New York City, hip hop kid.
mm-hmm.
Hip hop is in everything I do, even if I do make a pop record or
Yeah.
a
Something
house
alternative.
track
Yeah.
or like dance hall is always, I don't know, I feel like there's always going to be a little bit of hip hop flavor and no matter what we do.
Mm,
But so I'm not even afraid or
okay.
whatnot of making a pop record because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know whatever I do is gonna have that flavor in it. So
Mm,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You're always going to put your
Yeah, yeah,
interpretation of
yeah.
that. If someone asks you to make a house record or a pop record, it's going to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
your
yeah.
interpretation
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to
But
ask,
yeah, yeah.
so when working with artists, how much creative direction, if you're there as a producer or as the
Mhm,
engineer, how much creative direction do you kind of take the lead with?
mhm, mhm. I like to when I collaborate with artists, I like to let them do their thing.
Mm,
I know some producers, they kind of like tell the artist what to do kind of thing.
yeah.
But initially I like to hear what the artist has to say or whatever the artist ideas have, like
Mm,
whatever you want to try, let's do it. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
open to that, like initially. But of course, if they ain't like it ain't coming out hot, then I'm
yeah.
like,
Let's
okay,
try
you
this.
do it
Yeah.
like this.
That's it.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to like, okay, tell you what to do. But
Yeah.
initially, for me, I'm open to collaboration, and it's like, okay, do your thing. Like I did
Mm,
my thing, now do your thing. Do whatever you feel. I'm open to that kind of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have
yeah,
you
yeah.
ever felt or found any resistance from artists, like when you can see it's not really working out, like, and then you got to give them some creative direction? Have
Oh
you ever
yeah.
experienced any resistance?
No, no, pretty much. I mean, artists are kind of like open to it. Yeah. I mean, at first, sometimes they're like, oh, okay, you want to try it again? Okay, you want to try it again? Let's try it again.
Mm,
I mean, I learned in engineering school is like, you kind of like gotta be like just cool. Cause then if you start like, the heat is rising and then, no, 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 come on, man, no, no.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Start
get
creating
into like
some bad
arguments.
energy in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
studio. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. As an engineer, you just keep it
Mm,
cool. Like, okay, okay, let's try it. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
and then you're asking me what I think. Oh, I think maybe you should do it this way. So it's kind of
Mm,
like keeping you cool as an engineer,
yeah.
as a producer. I think is a main thing that just keeps everything moving smoothly,
Mm,
and everybody keeps everybody happy and not like really bumping heads in the studio. So let's
yeah.
do whatever you want to try. Let's do it. Boom, boom, boom.
Mm,
Oh, you want my opinion? Oh yeah. So okay, this is what I think, yo.
yeah, yeah.
And then eventually they'll ask you, what do you think? Okay, you like that one? I was like, maybe not, maybe yes, maybe not,
Mm.
and then go from there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we spoke earlier about obviously new technology and this digital age. A lot of people from our generation, we spoke about bumping heads in the studio and physically being in the studio with the artists. A lot of that's changing now. You know what I mean? A lot of it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is it's virtual working. You know what I mean? Send me the beats, they do their part, send it back. Again, talk to me about what you found to be some of the benefits and some of the challenges with working with an artist virtually or remotely.
I like I like being in the studio with the artists.
Mm,
If I had to choose. But of course, with the current times,
mm,
I understand we got to do what we got to do, and sometimes, yeah, we can't meet up with everybody nowadays, right? So we got to
yeah.
do it virtually. But if I had a choice, let's get in the studio together. Vibing out is always different when you are in the same room. Like,
Mm,
play the beats for the artists. You could kind of hear them flowing around. Yeah, yeah. You get them hype, and then you're getting hype. They're getting hype, and you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, let's go, let's go.
yeah.
But it's kind of different where, okay, you just send them the beat and then, yo, did you check it out? Oh yeah, not yet, not yet. And then
Yeah.
maybe they're listening to it on their phone. They don't hear the bass, or I don't know,
Mm.
like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're not in control of the
Just
environment. They're hearing it. You can't,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean, you
yeah.
can't gauge the energy.
Yep, yep, yep.
Mm,
So, it's a different feel. But if I had a choice, I would definitely, we need to get in the studio together.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And do you do a lot of as you approach the end of the song, once it's done, do you do a lot of the mixing and mastering yourself, or is that something that you would bring someone in to do?
Yeah, yeah. I usually, yeah, I do the mixing and mastering myself. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I guess I've been learning, yeah, mixing and like mastering ever since we started. Of
Mm,
course, I guess my mixing and mastering wasn't, I mean, you compare from my 99 to now, I guess you could hear the difference, but like I
mm,
said before, like still always learning and try to improve at the
yeah,
same time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay. And a quick question: do you think it's possible for a producer or a group to make a hit record in a home studio in this day and age?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
It's definitely possible to make a hit record no matter where you are, in your bedroom, no matter where you at.
yeah.
I mean, everybody's making hit records every day.
Mm,
And then I guess we just don't know about it because I mean, after that comes the marketing and promoting, like,
yeah,
which is a whole nother beast, like the music and then the music business, right? It's like
yeah.
kind of have to have both if you want to succeed in the music business. But
Mm,
if you just want to do music, hey, you could do music, but it's gonna be a little more tough to make a hit record technically. But I
Mm,
mean, it could be done, but of course, it's gonna be a lot harder than if you do have that backing or plan,
yeah,
as in,
yeah.
okay, we're gonna do ads here, we're gonna send it out to these people, we're gonna market it this way, that way,
Mm,
everything from your posts that you every the captions, right, descriptions to like the
yeah.
visuals, everything today too. You need like a good visual for your music nowadays too.
Mm,
Even your pictures to your everything got to be like,
yeah,
on
yeah.
point. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which for me, I mean, I was talking to someone about it today in terms of the role of the major label nowadays. For me, is more the marketing machine that they can bring to a project.
Hmm,
You know,
hmm.
I could make a beat in my studio here. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it could have the potential to be a hit, but I might not have the reach to
yeah,
let the world hear it. Where you put that, put the marketing machine of a major label behind it, and it's gone.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I believe there's
The
producers out there, you know what I mean? There's even in the pad bank, there's producers who have got
hmm.
potentially hit records sitting on their hard drives that the world probably will
Yep,
never
yep.
hear because they haven't got the marketing machine behind it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
The network, they say
yeah,
it's also
yeah.
like who you know, and like, I
Mm,
mean, it's a whole different beast. I mean, for me, I'm more, yeah, the music guy. I kind of don't like the business and like,
yeah.
all the politics and everything, all that stuff. But I
Mm,
know it has to be done in order to get your music outside of just your circle or whatever. If you want to
yeah.
reach outside, I think, yeah, you would really need to like, kind of learn that as well, the music business and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man.
That's right.
But
Um,
making a hit record, it's okay, man. Anyone can make a hit record, I believe. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think
Yeah.
a lot of the ones potentially happen by mistake. Just, you know what I mean? You're just vibing out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You don't really go into the studio saying, right, we're gonna make a hit today. It's
Yeah, yeah.
unlikely you're going to be successful. Where if it's just like, yo, let's just jam out and see what we do.
Uh-huh,
Oh,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
that's got more potential to become a hit.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what I wanted to ask you about was when I look at your website and what you're doing with Q York, I've noticed you've got the edutainment element,
Mm,
and you also class yourself as an educator. It seems like
mhm.
you've got a heart for the community. You know, I mean, you're doing some kind of community type work. Talk to me a
Mhm.
little bit about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. We do charity work. We actually fed 35,000 kids in the Philippines with
Hmm.
our last album,
Wow.
entitled "The Philippine Dream."
Yeah.
We went gold with that album, and we were able to, yeah, to feed 35,000 kids.
No, salute to that man.
Um,
That's
and
great.
we've been working with this organization, Gawa Kalinga, which builds homes for the homeless in the
Hmm.
Philippines. And for the last album, they also have like a kitchen. They call it the Kusina,
Hmm.
Kalinga Kusina kind of
Yeah.
thing. And now they're on a mission to they call it Hungry Warriors.
Hmm.
Millions of Miracles, Hungry Warriors, where we're on a mission to like feed the hungry pretty much.
Hmm.
Yeah. Starting in the Philippines, and of course, hopefully eventually inspiring, the world, other countries to do the same. It's just a model for other, yeah, countries to follow, where like, yo, nobody needs to be hungry. There's
Yeah.
enough food everywhere, there's enough money to like go around.
Hmm.
So, that's the kind of like work we do when we try to give back from, what we do. I mean, we're just musicians, but
Yeah.
what can we do with it? So we kind of like just thought of like, okay, let's just get the proceeds of our album to that like kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, man. Respect to
Yeah,
that, man.
yeah, yeah.
And I'll include all the links to all of these in this post, so
Oh yeah, thank you, brother.
people can check those out. But yeah, man. Before we close out,
Yeah.
who who are your influences now? You know, we spoke about when you first started out.
Mhm.
What are you listening to now? What's on your Spotify playlist? And who are your musical influences in
Mm,
2020?
okay. Let me see. Well, I got my '90s playlist, Forgotten Gems.
Of course, that's
But
standard procedure.
yeah, that's my go-to when I
Yeah,
do get
man.
on Spotify. But because
Yeah,
I turn on the radio, of course you hear Drake all day and like Travis Scott and all
yeah.
these pop or hip hop
His
or
current
whatever you wanna call it.
artists.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess some of the new producers that I was able to like come across is and new artists. I guess you could say. So I don't know if you heard of Selection Radio.
Nah, nah.
Okay, cool.
You'll have to put me up on
Selection.
that, man.
Yeah, yeah. Check it out. Selection. You spell it with a SOUL.
SOU.
Selection.
Okay, I like that.
And
Selection. Yeah.
they play a lot of cool, new, fresh stuff. At the same
Yeah.
time, old stuff.
So that's
And then
is
flip
that
it.
an online radio show?
It's like an online radio show. Yeah, they
Okay.
have it on SoundCloud too.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out.
K-Tronada. K-Tronada is like, I guess, a producer I didn't know about growing up.
Mm,
He kind of does like side chaining. He has
Okay.
like that kind of side chaining. He has like a kind of a up tempo feel.
yeah.
Who else am I listening to, man? I mean, I don't know. I guess listen to the Pad Bang,
Mhm.
the Loop Diggers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Besides that, I mean, digging. I mean, I just listen to the radio, I guess, out here
Okay.
just to see what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. If there was one Flava Matikz collaboration that you could make happen like that, that's my lifetime goal. I would love for that to happen. What would that collaboration be? Whether it be a producer, MC, artist, whatever. What would that collaboration be?
Oh man, Dead or Alive?
Dead or alive? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's go with that Bob Marley,
Okay. Yeah.
that and I guess Alive. I guess all time would be like someone like Nas,
Mm-hmm.
all time. But I guess today's day and age, Drake. I would
Okay.
love to do a record with Drake. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you
Okay.
go.
I'll see what I can do, brother. I'll hit him up and
Yeah.
see if we can get him in a pad bank. Yeah,
please
get
do.
an acapella off him.
Yeah, you got a grave digger and bring up a
Yeah.
Bob Marley
Yeah.
resurrect.
I'm sure there's some unheard Bob Marley acapellas floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, so I like to close out when I do these interviews. I like to close out with a quick fire round. Yeah, so I'm gonna give
Okay,
you.
bro.
We've got a few questions. It's multiple choice. There's only two options. You can only pick one, and you can't hesitate. You just have to boom. Yeah, that's
Okay.
my option. So let's do it. iPhone or Android?
iPhone,
MPC or machine?
PC,
Logic or Ableton?
Logic,
Trap or boom bap?
Boom Bap,
Sample or play?
Sample,
Chop or loop?
Chop,
Software or hardware?
Software,
Okay. Email the verse or come to the studio?
come through the studio.
Physical copy or digital download?
Digital download.
Okay.
I mean, the other one. Sorry,
Physical copy.
the physical copy. Yeah.
Yeah. You want that tangible. I want to feel it. I want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Spotify or Apple Music?
Spotify,
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix,
Big night in or quiet? Sorry, big night out or quiet night in?
Quiet Night. Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, Tribe Called Quest or Outcast?
Ooh. I guess I gotta keep the Queenz. Trap Called Quest.
Yeah.
Outcast is crazy. I know. But
Yeah, man.
Let's keep it Queen's like Quest.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that. Listen, brother, I've appreciated the conversation, man. It's been a good conversation,
Thank you, bro.
and I thank you for coming through. And as always, man, I salute your engagement in the pad bank. It's you've been very active. You've always, like I said, you've always brought the heat and brought a good vibe as well. So yeah, man, I salute you for that and I appreciate you for that, man.
No doubt, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody in the pad bank, and yeah. I just appreciate life.
Yeah, man. That's it. We have to give
Thanks.
thanks, man, in this crazy time we're living in. So
Yeah,
just let the people know where they can find you. Obviously, I'll add some links in the description. So wherever this goes, there'll be links in the description. But just let the people know where you are online, where you want people to find you, your latest project, whether it's straight to your website or socials, or man, let us know.
Yeah. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, pretty much everywhere. Spotify, SoundCloud. You could just type in my name, Flava Matikz. But that's the handle, Flava Matikz straight, right? FLAVAMATIKZ. But the way I spell it is like kind of two names. So Flava is the first name, Matikz is the second name. So sometimes you may have to like type it like that, Flava space Matikz.
Okay.
Of course, you could type in Q-York on all social media platforms as well. You could find my group right there, doing our thing as well. Yeah, everywhere, man. Flava Matikz, Q-York.
Yeah, man. Salute, brother.
Salute, bro. Thank you, brother.
All right,
appreciate you, bro.
I made it. I made it. I made it. I produced. I made it. I made it. I produced. I cooked up.